residents.
Hey guys, just wanted to give a quick update. I'll give this a few minutes to populate after 2 days, the first 2 days of the legislative session. So wanted to kind of give a quick up. So I'm going to let this populate for a minute, give people a couple of minutes to pop in. Hope everyone's having a great new year so far. I am on my way home from the Capitol, as is our legislative director, Rick Briscoe. So I want to take a few minutes, since I've got nothing better to do but drive home from Austin, and kind of give everyone an update and let you know what we're doing this legislative session, because we're not going to be as heavily involved in getting bills passed as we have in the past. We're going to focus on a very narrow set of bills, actually two really, that we're going to work on getting passed. Now, we are going to be very involved in getting bills killed for sure, but as far as our agenda is very narrow and very focused this year at the legislature. So let's do a little cleanup here. First of all, if you haven't been paying attention, the legislature looks a little bit different this year than it did last year. We are down a net 11 Republicans in the Texas legislature. So on one hand, it might be a little bit more difficult to get constitutional carry or permitless carry. You're going to hear both passed this year, but it's not impossible. As a matter of fact, we have actually a very good chance this year of getting it passed. It's just going to be a matter of tactics and how we do that. So we're playing it a little bit smarter. That's one of the reasons why, instead of worrying about different bills and having to worry about getting sponsors on a whole bunch of bills, we've decided to focus on two as for our agenda. So those two are, of course, HB 357, which is Jonathan Stickland's bill. That is the constitutional carry or permitless carry or unlicensed, whatever y'all want to call it, bill. And all that does is it is a 31-page bill. Again, House Bill 357. I like the name. I don't own a 357 yet, but either way, we got a good name for it. It is a good bill. Basically, what it means is, if you can lawfully possess a firearm, you can carry that firearm without a government permission slip or a license. So that's what we're fighting for. That's the main thrust this year, is to get that bill passed. Now, a lot of people are probably not going to be happy with it because it's not as comprehensive as past bills have been. There are certain things that we are not addressing this year, and I want to make sure that you understand why. We need the shell first. There are a lot of areas of contention that will cause this bill to have a lot harder time. And remember, we're coming at it with a more Democrat based minority than we had last time. So it's going to be a little bit more difficult. But one of the things we are not fighting for this time is, and I know this is going to upset a lot of people, and believe me, it's not what I wanted to do, but we've done a lot of analysis on the legislature, and that is lowering the age to 18. So what we have done is made sure that the bill doesn't interfere with the Motorist Protection Act, which allows people under 21 to have a firearm in their vehicle or of course on private property, including a handgun. So it doesn't mess with that. As far as being able to constitutionally carry around the state, outside of your vehicle, off your property, the bill does specifically say you still have to be 21. I don't like it. We don't like it. My legislative director doesn't like it. Stickland doesn't like it. A lot of people don't like it. But we have to be realistic. And that realism is if we lowered it to 18 like we did last time, it's just unfortunately not going anywhere. So we kept the 21 provision in there. We also are not messing with campus carry. So you will still need a license to carry on a college campus. Now I'm talking about handguns. So this whole discussion, I understand you don't have to be 21 to carry a rifle. I am specifically talking about constitutional carry of handguns. So it's just assumed. Keep that in mind. Again, I don't like it, but if we can get constitutional carry passed, we can work on these little minutia later. The problem is, if we make it so broad, we're gonna give more and more people reasons to oppose the bill, and we don't want people to oppose the bill. So I don't like incrementalism at all. This is about the least incrementalist we can get, is keeping out the campus carry aspect of it and keeping out the under 21 aspect of it. Personally, I believe if you're 18 years, actually, I believe if you're a responsible adult at all, you shouldn't need a license anyway, and you're allowed to possess a handgun if you're under 21, but that's not what's going to get the bill passed. So the second bill that we're going to be fighting for, which we haven't had filed yet, although we did speak with Representative Dutton today. Dutton is a Democrat, so yes, we will work with Democrats that are level-headed, is a bill that would protect gun owners from being harassed by law enforcement simply for carrying. So if you recall, when we got open carry passed, there was a Dutton-Huffines amendment, or the Rinaldi-Dutton-Huffines amendment, that would have specifically protected people open carrying from being stopped and ID'd solely on the basis of open carry. Now, the legislature made clear that the amendment wasn't needed because it was already law. However, we wanted it codified. We wanted it in black and white, not just having to rely on case law. So that's the second bill. I think it's an easy bill to get passed because now we have 4 years of proof that that amendment was needed, because we have many stories and many examples and much evidence that law enforcement, despite the legislature saying when they passed the open carry bill that HB 910 does not need the amendment because law enforcement do not have the authority to stop and demand identification just based on carry, there are officers that are doing it anyway. There are officers doing it, there are deputies doing it, and there are troopers doing it. And so we now have proof that the Dutton-Huffines Rinaldi amendment is necessary to protect law-abiding citizens who are doing nothing more than exercising their Second Amendment rights. So those are the only two bills that we're going to fight for this session. Stickland, as I said, has already filed HB 357, and we just spoke. We actually caught him in the elevator, me and Rick Briscoe, Representative Dutton, who is definitely interested and will sponsor that amendment or a separate bill again this year. Now, the police are going to blow a gasket like they did this time, but obviously they didn't listen to the legislators when they passed HB 910, when we got open carry, that you're not allowed to demand identification, because they're still even in Austin. If you look at the Austin police website, or maybe it's the Houston police website, one of those two, they actually say in there that a law enforcement officer can demand identification to carry, and the legislators, the senators and the representatives themselves said they can't do that when they passed the bill. So apparently some law enforcement officers feel that they can do anything until it's specifically written into a law that they can't. So now we're going to have to fix that. So that's what we've done the last 2 days, is sort of run that down. As you know, not a lot is getting done this week. The legislature was fixated on electing the speaker, which they've elected. Dennis Bonnen is now the speaker. Better than Strauss, and seems to, so far, based on the last 2 days, definitely seems open to and fair to all members of the House, not just the liberal base. So there is some positivity in Speaker Bonnen. That's a good thing. And of course, today, and the rest of this week, they'll probably be arguing over House rules and things of that nature, getting things, resolutions and things like that passed. I don't think I need my sunglasses on anymore. So not a lot's getting done. Now, the bills right now, the way this works is, as you know, every 2 years, the legislature's in session for 140 days. And it's split up basically into 3 segments. So you've got, the first segment is bill filing. Then you've got the second segment, which is committee hearings. And the third segment is where they start passing all the bills and all that kind of stuff. So nothing's going to get done for at least 30 to 45 days as far as moving bills. The committee assignments have not yet been assigned, so we don't know who's going to be on the committee or where these bills are going to go. We don't know if it's going to be the same as last session, so we could have a easier fight or we could have a harder fight. I will tell you that there were some changes to the Rules Committee that they were arguing, not the Rules Committee, I'm sorry, the Local and Consent Calendar, as well as getting stuff onto the Calendars Committee, which I think are going to be positive changes, but we'll see. In addition to the 2 things that we're going to fight for, so like I said, we're only fighting for those 2 things. I know there's a whole bunch of crap that we need to address. There's a lot of crap that needs to be addressed. Hopefully other organizations will perhaps decide to work on those things. But those are the 2 things we're working on. We will fight, and the rest of our focus will be on defeating the so-called assault weapons ban that the Democrats have put in there, the red flag law that they seem to be gaining momentum on. There are all kinds of bills about magazine capacities, of what you can have. There's a universal background check bill, and I don't know if you heard at the federal level yesterday, Nancy Pelosi and her gun-hating zealots filed the bill that would require universal background checks. And that's one of the things that's scary about that, is it's already sponsored by 5 Democrats and 5 Republicans. So if that doesn't tell you the problem with the 2-party system right there, I don't know what is. But I don't think that's going to go anywhere, because it's not going to pass the Senate, and the president's, well, I don't know what the president's going to sign. He seems to have liked red flag laws. But anyway, back to Texas. So we're going to fight all of that stuff. I think we're going to be a lot busier fighting bills than we are trying to get bills passed, just because of the sheer volume of anti-gun bills, thanks to an influx of socialists and communists to the Texas legislature. And these are people that are utter morons, and thankfully the only reason that they got elected was they can thank Beto, the immaculate one, for drawing in extra dead people to vote and extra illegals to help get some of these people elected. So that's the update. So as you see us fighting for a limited number of things, that's the reason why. Now we will still, and I hopefully by the end of this weekend, our website, opencarrytexas.org, our bills page will be updated. We still have the bills from last session. Hopefully they'll all be updated and we'll get everything up by the end of the weekend. So we are going to track every bill, whether it's pro-gun or anti-gun, and we are going to testify. If there's a pro-gun bill, I'm not saying we're going to ignore it. We are going to testify on any bill that has to do with guns, whether it's for or against. So don't think that we're just going to go to sleep and we only care about 2 bills. We are going to fight for and against every bill that has any impact whatsoever on you. Just know that what we're not doing is we're not going out and seeking sponsors and co-sponsors and authors and trying to build a consensus on anything but constitutional carry and what I like to call the Gun Owner Protection Amendment or bill, because it protects the 4th Amendment rights of gun owners. So there you go. I wanted to explain that. I know that's a really long explanation. So there you go. We are engaged. Yes, we have way too many commies in Texas now. And unfortunately, some of them are in the legislature. That's what really sucks. So it's terrible. But I just wanted to, you know, there's a difference between what you believe and what is realistic. And I'm not one of those guys that just gives up because it's a hard fight. Believe me, there's a lot in the constitutional carry bill that we're going to have to fight to keep in there. But those 2 issues of the age, which I believe strongly in, and campus carry, which I believe strongly in, we had to sort of let go, because I think that's, well, I don't think, that is a bridge too far, period. All we're doing is wasting energy, and it's an unnecessary fight. I think 357, as it's written, there are a few technical things that have got to be fixed on it, but they're just technical things. 357 is written as passable. It is absolutely passable, and there's no reason why we shouldn't be able to get it. We make very clear in this bill that if you can lawfully possess a firearm, you can lawfully carry that firearm without a permit, okay? So it doesn't mean felons can carry. It doesn't mean any jackbooted criminal thug can carry. It means if you can legally own a gun according to the laws, and I'm not arguing whether or not those laws are constitutional, but if you can legally carry it according to the laws as they are, then you can carry it without a license. If you can own it, you can carry it. That's what we're fighting for. And then in 2 years after we get this, we'll work on the other stuff. We'll fix all the other little things that need to be fixed in it from a gun rights perspective. That means getting the age down to 18. That means enveloping, getting rid of gun-free zones, getting rid of all those kinds of things, okay? So you got to understand what we believe and what is realistic, and it comes down to, do we want to get it or not? We are still asking for more than we'll probably get. I have a feeling that the bill as written now is not going to be the bill that gets passed. There will probably be some changes to it, but this is the hill we're willing to die on. And I would rather have something that's better than even what was submitted last session that made it further, which is the NRA's crappy bill, than nothing. So I hope everything's well. If you've got a quick question, since we are live and I'm doing nothing but driving anyway, if it's a quick question, don't leave me a long thing because I'm driving, so I'm only going to be able to glance down real quick. Let me know, ask it away. When I see it pop up on my screen there, I'll give about 2 or 3 minutes. Oh, yeah, you know, it's funny. So fake account, how about a law about breaking the law? You know, it's funny, I was having a conversation with someone out of, her name's Mary Pennington, out of Pennsylvania, and they just had this open carry rally out there in Pittsburgh. And we're planning a giant nationwide protest against red flag laws. And we want to do it in every state. And so I was talking to her about getting Texas on board, that, you know, hey, we're on board, we'll help you out. It's in February. We'll help you out. More details to come. We don't have those yet. I says, you know what the problem is? We've got all these laws, and the reason that they keep getting broken is because there's not a law. There is not a law anywhere on the books. Go find one that says you have to obey the law. So what we need is a law that says you have to obey the law, and then criminals will never commit a crime again. That's been the flaw this whole time. It's so simple. If only criminals, if we had a law that says, hey guys, you have to obey the law, then maybe criminals wouldn't commit crimes, right? People wouldn't use guns to commit crimes. It's genius. But anyway, that's something I did bring up. Yeah, why would anyone want a national driver's license? We need to get rid of all driver's licenses, absolutely. Yeah, we just need to make it illegal to break the law. I mean, think about it. There really is no, there are laws that say you can't do anything. Like there's a law right now saying I can't break the speed limit, which I'm doing the speed limit, by the way. There's a law that says I can't drive faster than the speed limit, but there's no law that says I have to obey the law that says I can't drive faster than the speed limit. See? We need a law. We need a law that says we have to obey the laws. That's the problem. That's why there's so much. Think about it. We get a law that says you have to obey the laws, and we won't even need jails anymore because no one will commit crimes, right? That's how great laws work. All right. Yes, I know. Reasonable and prudent. Hawkwind says there are no speed limit laws. There are speed limit laws, but they apply to commercial traffic. They don't apply to what I'm doing right now. So, mine is I can't drive faster than a speed that is reasonable and prudent. But this truck that I'm passing, those signs are for him. Don't believe it? Look at the traffic code. I think it's 502-225, something like that. I don't remember. It's on my paperwork when I fight my speeding tickets. But this is a gun rights thing. So any gun questions at all? Rick and I, let me end with this. I need your help. We need your help. We are going to be coming down here a lot, and there is going to be a big fight. Please go to opencarrytexas.org, go to the donation box, and set up a recurring donation for the caliber of your choice. If we can get as many people as watch this video to do that, go to the donation link. If you're an AR-15 guy, just sign up to donate $2.23 a month, 223, or $5.56 a month, 556, or $7.62 a month, 7.62. It's not a lot, but what it does is it pays for our gas. Yesterday, Rick had to stay at a hotel last night, so it does pay for the few times, the very, very few times that we do stay overnight, because there are bills that don't get heard until 2 o'clock in the morning because the legislature thinks nobody's going to be there to testify against it. And so we don't operate on debt at all in Open Carry Texas. If we don't have the money, we don't spend it. And if we don't have the money to stay overnight, we can't stay overnight. And sometimes we're there late and we got to be there early. I live an hour and a half away. Rick lives an hour and a half away from Austin. And so gas does get expensive, and having to stay in a hotel gets expensive. So please, please go to opencarrytexas.org, click the donate button, make a donation of the caliber of your choice. 7.62. Hey, if you like 50 calibers, we'll take a 50 caliber donation, $50 a month. And then click that recurring donation button so that every month it's a recurring donation, and that helps. All right, are there any upcoming rallies? The only one right now for sure is going to be in February, and I believe the date is February 19th. We don't have anything specifically planned yet. So just stay tuned. We'll get that out there. I saw an OCT video from 2013 about a pastor arrested for black powder. What was the outcome of that? That was John Harrison. The outcome was all the charges were dropped. And we sued. We all sued. And they threw out the lawsuit because they said that the cops were allowed to be stupid and ignorant, and they didn't know better. And so because they didn't know better and they can't tell the difference between what the law says and what a gun is versus a black powder. They were just doing their job, supposedly, even though they didn't know what they were doing. So with the pastor being arrested, all those charges were thrown out. Of the 26 people who have been arrested since we were founded in 2013, all charges have been dismissed except for mine, in which they changed the charges a bunch of times and I was convicted. But every other case that we've got, if you've been going through our videos, has been dismissed. So, other than helping with donations, yeah, isn't that great, Targeted Citizen, that you and we can't be ignorant of the law, but the cops can? All right, well, that's it. We're at 25 minutes here. I wanted to try and keep it around that. If you have any other questions, you can email me directly, cj@opencarrytexas.org. But honestly, sign up also at opencarrytexas.org. Sign up for our email list. We do not spam people. But if you want to know about hearings that are coming up, the progress on bills, now is the time to sign up, because this is when we start sending emails. Anybody can tell you that signed up for our email list already that we don't spam you. You probably haven't gotten an email from us in months. Every now and then we'll send out an email because, you know, we need to raise money for something or there's an event going on. But generally we don't send a lot of emails out except during the session. So we will be sending emails out letting people know what bills are being filed, what bills are being passed, when they're being debated, and then if we need you to show up, make phone calls, whatever that is, so we can keep everybody informed. Not everybody's on Facebook or social media, so the email is the best way to find out about upcoming events and bills that we need you to call, write, or show up about to testify. So, all right, guys, take care. God bless you all.